So what's up, everybody? We're back. We're back in the garage. Actually, kind of a different garage. This is my actual garage. The little shop was a little small, echoey. I wasn't happy with that video at all when we did the exhaust on this bike. I decided to clean up my garage a little bit. That half is still a mess. I got the car project and just a bunch of other junk, but I was able to kind of get this little half looking good. So hopefully the audio sounds better. I'm going to be using the microphone this time. Hopefully the lighting in the space and everything looks good. We're going to adjust on it. I want to make good content. I want to make good videos. So I'm going to put forth the effort to do that. Unfortunately, Justin's super busy. We were going to do this video together. But man, if you're on Instagram, he has been cranking out his Fxlrst. Getting a lot of parts ready for that. He's leaving for Sturgis next weekend, or actually a week from today. So today's Sunday. It's early morning, so I might look a little tired, but I wanted to get this video recorded, edited, and hopefully dropped very, very soon. To try to stay on track with like a weekly upload. I hope you guys enjoy that. So, like we said in the video with the Thundermax, we're doing Justin's risers, set of thrashing bars. So this is a great video for anyone that has a 2018 and up Street Bob, or the Softail Standard, or of course, the Lowrider ST. And I'm gonna show you, we did a little something little different, and we'll see what you guys think about it. But in this video, I'm gonna give you a couple little pointers, a couple little tricks, I guess you could say. So I'm not gonna go nut and bolt removing everything, but I will show you some tricks that make it a little easier for the ST, because with this permanent mounted fairing, it is a little trickier to get to the bolts, disconnecting the harness, stuff like that. All right, so this just kind of shows you everything that you need. Of course, we're using Justin's 8-inch risers. This is going to be paired with his actual gauge mount. So this is something we did a little different. We're trying to do like a little two-tone. So we got the black risers, polish this. The wife don't know how she's going to feel about it, but we'll see what it looks like on the bike in the comments. Let us know what you think. Of course, with Harley Davidson Softails, they use a stud and a nut for the factory kind of mounting system. I'm replacing it with actual bolts. So these are some grade 8 bolts from just any old hardware store. 1/2 by 13's the thread pitch, of course 3 inches in length. Pair it with a set of lock-in washers. As far as harnesses go, we got the Gorilla cable. This is for the actual gauge itself, kind of those part number. This is the 19-inch cable. This is going to be for your fly-by-wire. This is going to be the actual throttle cable. It's shorter than said extensions for your hand control. Reason being, and you'll see fly-by-wire is actually longer harness. And then this is just genuine Harley harness for the hand controls themselves. Magnum upper half for the clutch cable. Softails have the 2-piece clutch cables. Actually, I think the new Torns are using the 2-piece clutch cables as well. So that makes it super nice. You don't have to crack into your transmission housing and replace the entire cable like the older models. You just replace the upper half. Of course, we're running the thrash and mid-bend bars. These are not the aggressive bars. So these are just the standard mid-bends. And then Vans grips. My wife loves these grips. I went ahead last night. I glued the throttle tube inside the throttle side, and then I went ahead and glued the left grip onto the bar. So something I did just to make today's video go a little bit easier, a little smoother. So the only other thing you really need is actually a brake line. And I've already installed the brake line and fit, and there's a little fitting, which I don't know if I can get the camera down in there with no light. So there's a little fitting down by the junction block you have to replace. And then of course the brake line's gotta be longer. I've already installed it, had it bled. That way we're not dealing with all that in this video. Obviously the install is pretty easy, straightforward. You just take the old line off, put the new line on, and then bleed the brake out. So I went ahead and did all that, but that's what we're gonna pick up at. So brake line's on, brakes are bled. Now let's get the risers off and go from there. All right, so on this ST, because of the solid mounted fairing, it is, like I said, a little tricky to get to the harness in here, to get to the bolt. If you're gonna be doing it on lift, you need to make sure that you can spin the wheel so I can get to the 3/4 inch nuts that are on the back side of this. But another thing I think is gonna be a little easy is if we remove this gas tank. With some YouTube magic, as they say, let's get this gas tank off. Bam, there it is, it's off. So now that gains us access to this wiring harness. So I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect the harnesses for the controls, the harness for the fly-by-wire, and the harness for the gauge. You just kind of reach in here, get this out. There's gray clips and there's black clips. The black ones are going to be for the harness, and the gray, I believe, is for the turn signal. So disconnect those. So typically on these harnesses, the connectors are all interchangeable. Harley used the same connection on everything. So you could accidentally put a turn signal harness in a control spot. But on this bike, it's pretty self-explanatory. One harness is going to have like a little extra wire. It's only going to go to one spot. And then the other harness is going to be by itself. It's on the bottom side. So you can't really mix these up, but you can label them, mark them if you want to. But definitely mark the turn signals if you're working on a Lowrider S. All right, handlebar bag's out of the way. Let's feed the wires. Boom, boom, boom. So like I was saying, you can see right here, this is your fly-by-wire harness, and then this is a regular hand control harness. There's almost additional, like, 4 to 5 inches of harness on here, so that's why you don't need to buy the same length for your fly-by-wire as you do for these. So obviously I have ARP bolts on here. I got these little thrashing perch clamps, and for years I've been telling myself I need a 12.5 5/16, and all I have is this little stupid wrench. So this is gonna take a while. So let's fast forward. All right, so now that we got the clutch and the brake out of the way, just kind of slopped them over here without, you know, kinking anything up. I'm gonna use just a 3/4 dog bone. Like I said, with the ST, the space in between, you got this fairing mount and everything like that, it's pretty tight, so you're not gonna get a socket on there. I mean, you're not getting a socket on there. So we're just gonna use this, kind of ratchet it out, so get it up in there. And another thing, with having the tank off, you got a little bit more movement in the dog bone itself. Actually, the dog bone might not be the best answer. So at some point, you're gonna hit this bracket and your dog bone might get stuck, unless you have one of those that you can reverse and run it back up. So I guess a box end wrench it is. All right, so bars are off. This is what I was talking about by the stud and bolt from the factory. You can actually use this if you want. I just personally don't. So here's the bars. So the first thing first is we're gonna disconnect this setup right here, and we're gonna get it installed into that setup. There we go. All right, so once you get this all disconnected, it's just got these little Torx screws in there. So just got 4 of those. We're gonna pull those apart, and then we're gonna stick them inside Justin's new kit. And for those wondering, it's a T15 Torx bit. I'll try to do better about actually stating the tool sizes for everything. I know some videos, a lot of you guys are watching it and you kind of want to know if you have the right tools, so I'll definitely try to let you guys know exactly what it takes. And as you can see, I have no special tools, by the way. It's all pretty much hand tools. I don't know. Pretty much everything I've ever done, I've done in a garage. Obviously with chain kit and stuff like that, there are some specialty tools for that, but most of your common bars, risers, you know, exhaust, things like that, you can just do it with the hand tools. All right, so now we're gonna switch it over to this. You got 2 Allen screws in the back. Usually he sends it already assembled, just 2 of them. Then you're gonna sit this whole little thing down in there. No seal, no nothing. Take your screwdriver. Same thing like I was saying on the exhaust, and this is just something that I do throughout life, no matter what I'm working on. Because, you know, I work on aircraft and stuff. Never just tighten down the first screw. You know what I mean? Especially you're working with plastic. If I go and run this screw all the way down, then it might, you know, kind of bulge it or whatever, and you got the possibility of cracking it. So always kind of run everything down evenly until it's all nice and seated, and then you can go in there and then tighten it. Run your new end through the old end, Allen wrench, tighten it up. Minus all the fingerprints, we're done. All right, set that to the side. Next, wiring the bars. So for this, you're just gonna grab your trusty little T25. There's 2 screws, Harley Davidson, pretty much since 1903. Pretty much the 80s was like this, going into the 90s, and I know the 96 and up controls are in the same spot, but you got the 2 Torx here that's gonna separate these 2 halves. However, sometime around 14 or so, this whole top half is its own. So be careful, don't drop it. On the older, like 96 to, I don't know, 2012 or something like that, the 2 switches used to stay here, 2 would stay there, and you kind of just open it, but it makes it a lot easier. Now that you got this kind of disconnected, you're gonna feed this harness as you're pulling this wire out. So just kind of feed it and pull on it without pulling too tight, because I mean, this harness obviously has everything to it. While you're pulling this one out, because we're on the throttle side, you can kind of pull your throttle out as well. So just like that, you see how that one's coming out? They're just feeding together. Now that side, like I said, it's got 2 harnesses going through it, so it's a little tougher. The left control's a lot easier. It's just 1 harness. And since we're not using these grips, you don't have to worry about trying to remove the grip off the handlebar. Just leave it on the bar, stick it up in your attic or wherever you want to keep all your stock parts, trash can, attic, give it to your homeboy. Boom, start feeding the harness. This one you can almost just pull all the way out. Bam, so bars are completely done away with, minus the foam mount. And I don't know where we're gonna put the foam mount on the bike. Kind of want to do a different foam mount on here, honestly. Or maybe mount something to the dash, so we'll hold off on that. So here's your old bars. It's getting a little hot in this garage for being so early. All right, so now we're gonna run the harnesses through the new bars. Everybody's got something different they do. I don't know, this has always kind of worked for me, but I just use good old safety wire. So what I've done now, I've ran 2 strands of safety wire through the bars. They come out here, come out here. I've electric taped the harness for the controls to one of the safety wire, taking the electric tape here again, and I'm gonna tape the fly-by-wire harness to the second piece of safety wire. The reason I like to use safety wire is kind of durable. You know, it'll hold its shape pretty good. It's thin, it's not grippy. So it's not gonna like grab a hold of the sides of anything and cause any issues. Hopefully, 9 times out of 10, it works pretty good for me. Yeah, this would be a lot easier if I had like a workbench, but I actually got rid of my workbench to make more room in this garage to do YouTube videos. And like I said, the other side that does not have the throttle tube, it goes through pretty easy. Just take your time. Don't yank on these wires because, man, you do not want to be having to buy a new throttle harness because you were impatient and just started snatching on it. All right, everything's in there nice and tight. We got our other harness, start to feed it through. As you see, it goes through super easy. It's already made it to the point of our hole right here. Just get you a little something to help you fish it out. That's one thing about making these videos. It definitely takes more time, I would say, to do a job, just because, you know, you gotta be worried about talking and being able to show somebody exactly what's going on and all that sort of stuff. But kind of part of the fun. Man, I can't wait to see these bars and everything on this bike. Now we're gonna move on to riser. All right, so like I was saying before, we got our new grade 8 bolt lock and washer. Now you can put Loctite on here if you want, but with the lock and washer, it should secure it pretty good. And then we're gonna reuse the factory bushing cap. Now this bike, a lot of you guys, if y'all are riding more aggressively or whatever, you can definitely opt for stiffer bushings. The rubber works, but it does have a little flex in it. But being that my wife's not gonna be riding crazy hard, I think this will be just fine for her setup. The new bolt and riser. And hopefully I didn't buy too long of a bolt. A lot of people online were saying 2 3/4 of an inch, but the store, I went to Home Depot and all they had was up to 3 inch. So we'll see what happens. Another thing, if I was working by myself and not trying to film a video, I'd be able to listen to some tunes right now. But YouTube doesn't like that. Yeah, I think the 3 inch will work, but if you have the opportunity to get 2 3/4 inch bolts, as far as the length goes, that'd be probably the more ideal situation. All right, now that we got the risers fully tightened up, I went ahead and removed the clamp. We're going to get the bars on. You're going to direct all the wires. There's that little hole there in the front of your triple tree. And then be careful here because a lot of people, and I see it all the time on bike, you start getting the bars where you want them and you're banging around, especially on these black bars. They're real easy to scratch. So kind of have a plan of where it's going to go and put them in that spot to avoid all the scratches on your bars. Maybe it's just me being OCD, but I like new parts to look nice and new for as long as possible. I'm not gonna go crazy tight here because I wanna step back and look and see where we're exactly where we're at. Just rotating back a little bit. Yeah. So then also when you look inside this bar where the knurling is, you can tell if you're centered. Yeah, I'm pretty centered in there. So now we're on this side of the bike. So we got the bars, we got the risers on. The next step is we're gonna need to remove this 2-piece clutch cable. It's super easy, at least I feel it is. These little clips right here just come right off the frame. You lift up your little guard and you have this little red clip right here. So this red clip kind of sets the tension. So you see you got a spring in here. So I'm actually going to disengage this clip. Then you're gonna pull the clutch in and then you're gonna reapply that clip. Now you have all your tension out of your clutch. And pull this little clip. Now my cable's disengaged from the perch. Now this is the tricky part, actually separating this cable. So you have a little, I guess like a ball socket on the cable that's going down to the bottom. We need to free that from the cable. So you keep all this pushed in, the cable's all the way in. So we're gonna grab our little pick and you just gotta, and I don't know if this is the correct way of doing it or not, to be honest. This is just what I've done. Is I have just bent this little brass piece out and then you should be able to get the cable. It's got a little hole on the other side. You should be able to kind of push it through until it is free. Boom. So once you have that out, push it back down and then you can actually separate this entire cable just like that without ever having to crack into your transmission case. Got that out? Now we'll grab the new one and we'll install it. All right, so here's the new cable from Magnum. You have to transfer this sleeve from your old cable over to this. And another note to take from the Magnum setup is now, instead of having this kind of self-adjuster piece, we actually do go back to the old school, you know, threaded, it's got a jam nut and all that. It's still gonna work the same. It's still a 2-piece. So the little ball socket still goes inside there, but now, instead of having the spring and a plastic clip that could possibly fail, we actually have a mechanical adjustment. Run all the way down, run it to the top, drop it in here, and you should be able to, kind of the same concept, get this thing out of the way. All right, so now it's locked in there. Like I said, that thing's gonna sit in there. So I got the little clip back in there, I got our cable in here, and then what I'm gonna start doing right now is go ahead and cleaning the slack out. So, and we're not gonna get it perfect, I just wanna get most of it out. That's pretty much it. You got a little jam nut. When it comes time to actually set everything, then we'll tighten this up. Next step is, let's get the master cylinder on. So you're gonna run your master cylinder just like the factory. Get it in there where it's nice and secure. Just start tightening the bolts up. This is gonna take a while, so I'm gonna get this and the clutch perch back on and then we'll pick back up. How about that? All right, so we got the controls on, and like I said, nothing's like final torque, because I'm gonna have my wife kind of sit on here, see where she likes it at. So now, wires. Also, real quick, I meant to say this earlier. The 3-inch bolts, don't do it. 2.5, 2 3/4 at the most. Once I had the bars on there, there was a little bit of play, and they were as tight as they could go. So I had to end up putting another washer on there. I don't like to double up the washer. I would have preferred not to have to do all that. So 2.5-inch bolt. And then your flyby, your throttle wire, whatever you want to refer to it as. And boom. All right, we'll clean all this up in a minute. Now for the gauge. All right, on this gauge, kind of off camera, I did a few little test fits, and here's what I came up with. I've actually mounted the tank, it clears. I'm gonna mount this straight to this bracket. I think it looks super clean, looks good. Plus, I can retain the factory harness. This is not, I know I bought the Gorilla Cables cable, but I don't need it in this application. So for you, those of you that want the gauge in a different location, Justin will do that for you, but you have to let him know. There's a standard way that he sells all these kits, but if you're wanting something unique or special or whatever, and you're willing to bear with him, you can definitely let him know at the time that you purchase, whether through Instagram, or if you're on the website, you know, you could send them a message on the website and say, hey, this is what I kind of would like. You can also use this video as reference and say, hey, on the install video, I noticed that y'all mounted the gauge on the bottom side. The reason I did it, it's not that it looks bad on the top side. I just thought it might look a little cleaner on the bottom side. And I'm super happy I did it, because after kind of playing around with everything, seeing how it all looked, I am really, really stoked on this. So once I put the tank on it, tuck this harness, I'm gonna use a couple little zip ties to tighten this up, get the tank on, and then we're gonna do kind of like a final tighten, let my wife sit on it, see what she thinks, and then we'll take it outside and get some better shots of it out there. So the next step you're gonna see is the bike back together.